Hey YouTube! So, I want to talk about figuring out what your rules are for your reality and defining those rules. Especially when you come into something, I think it's kind of hard in a way. You almost expect I've said in previous videos, there'd be a book, a list, things, here's the list of rules to follow type of deal. With paganism, spirituality, I think really the first step is really defining not who you're going to work with, a deity if that's something you want to invite into your practice, or who you're willing to, or what really you're willing to explore and touch on. Like, do you want to have an altar? Are you more of just a minimal mountain nature type of person? Are you working with the law of attraction? Or you think it's kind of hooey? What things are you willing to do and what willing to play with? Law of attraction kind of works into this a bit, but basically it's deciding how do you think, what feels right to you, how the universe works. How does this big thing that we all come into accept as existence? I think that is the first thing you have to kind of define with yourself, and it can be kind of an evolving, ever-going process as well. Like, you don't necessarily need to pick something and stick with it for forever, but it's something you need to come to, decide, okay, this is kind of the rules or regulations I'm going to try to work under, see if it vibes right, works, and then I may move on, but at least I have guidelines to kind of focus on. And I think from that idea, you can kind of then decide on deity, the divine, the world, how that all kind of came into being from the rules of how you believe that universe kind of works. Like, do you believe that your thoughts create your reality? Do you believe that fate exists, that there's kind of like a predestined plan? Do you believe we've kind of all opted into different parts of this universe? Do you believe that you've come into this universe and that there are rules and regulations for this current reality that we have all manifested? Do you believe that you can't really break out of those? You have to operate within those, and there's no way to kind of adapt and change from that. It's just you tapping into the outer to bring it into the rules that have already been set by this current standing place that we have found ourselves in. These are all big questions it's good to talk about and to go through and to think of, because I have been, in a way, teetering on that line of really where I fall with that. For me, for example, I do believe a lot of what your thoughts do create your reality. That's a definite for me. Like, I definitely think that there is a bit of what we really do decide to work with things and what won't, but at the same time, I do think that there are pieces of this world that we have come into for a reason. I think we have chosen to come into this part of existence at this moment in time with the current political atmosphere, the current technological atmosphere. Certain technologies are available to us, certain thoughts, certain things have been accepted as common knowledge within the communal understanding of how the world works for a reason. Whether that is because it is the universe itself trying to express itself to understand more and it's being just grown onto this point, or is it because that there's something specific for our souls to understand? I think that there is a reason for that, and because of that reason, there are therefore rules and regulations that we've opted into this reality that we kind of can't break. Whether I've decided or the universe has decided. This is where I'm kind of like, you can tell when I'm like not entirely sure where I fall on things, but there are certain rules, whether the universe or I, as in my soul, my higher self, has decided that this is a certain framework to which I wish to operate within. And then it's really deciding, okay, so where is the framework really? Like, where is the actual box that I cannot break out of, because that would defeat the purpose of manifesting in this life form at this time within this realm and timescape? And where are the other parts where I have kind of given myself limits that don't really hold much merit? They're kind of just there and they're self-limiting, and they really just limit the potential to which I could grow within this current manifestation. And that is a hard thing to find. Like, where is the boundary? Where is the boundary I don't want to cross? Where is a boundary that I set up to not cross, maybe previously, or the universe has kind of come and said, this is your finite, like, this is your limit. That's there for a reason, to kind of teach you a lesson, for you to kind of adapt and learn in that way. I think this evolves in a lot of ways where it's not necessary, like, people go through struggles that they didn't necessarily invite into their lives. That is something, when it comes to the law of attraction and attracting things, I definitely think that works to an extent. I think we definitely have a level of control over our reality in our room to express different things, like, and bringing things into our lives and deciding how we will react to things in our lives that present to us that we weren't really ready for. But I don't believe we have full control over other people or other people's intentions, how they bring in. So of course that's going to create a chaotic element. I also don't believe that everything has been predestined in a little book somewhere that someone else has written out, or even we have written out, to experience in this way. I feel like it's much more of a, like when you go on vacation and you have kind of decided, okay, I'm going to do this, 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 and this. So I want to see this landscape, and I want to eat this type of food, and I want to stay at this type of hotel. But then you might happen upon a flyer that will give you an experience that's even better and totally take you off the course of what you had planned for that vacation. And it's still a great time, or it's still you experiencing that destination, but it's not done by plan. I think our life kind of works a little more like that, where we come in with certain definitions, but that's not necessarily what you were hoping to do. That's something too, especially for new witches, or even older witches, if you've kind of been, by newer and older I mean like in the craft, not by age, is thinking about what really defines the groundwork that which you are working in, because that is definitely something that kind of comes up for me on a regular basis, where I'm like, oh, that's not possible. And it's like, well, is it actually possible? Is that something I could, is that just a rule that I have let society determine for me that is not possible? Or is it a predetermined guideline that I would actually like to work within? And do I need to either move past it, break it, or accept it as a guideline that I'm working in? Are there things that I could evolve past, but it would take a lot of effort, because I would tapping into the communal consciousness, and that communal consciousness has a certain ground rules that we've kind of all accepted as a whole, and that has to move forward before I could say break that pattern, because I am too indoctrinated to an extent with the communal consciousness type of deal. Things to consider. Anyway, what's a universal rule you're exploring? What is a bit of the universe that you're like, I'm not sure if that's a rule or just a guideline or a thing that I've given myself or something someone else has given me? Comment all those things down below. I make new videos every Friday and Wednesday. Friday. Yep. I'll see you guys next time.